What's up, y'all? Today we are having a much needed conversation, okay? Today we're gonna talk about how and why you can be happy single and why you should be. I get so many of you guys talking to me like all the time about, you know, not feeling happy because, you know, there's other couples around you, or you see couples on the internet all day and it just makes you so sad and you're single and nah. You're looking at it all wrong, okay? We're gonna fix that. Today we're gonna break down why you might be uncomfortable being single in order for you to get rid of that and be happy single, okay? Okay, so that's what we're gonna talk about today. I'm not even gonna ramble in this intro because we really need to talk, okay? So let's just get into this. But first, if you've not subscribed to my channel yet, what are you doing? We're gonna give you a couple seconds to do that. Did you do it? Good. Now you can watch the video and welcome to our family. Also, follow me on my socials so we can participate in polls, all that fun stuff, or whatever. Let's just get into this. Okay, we're gonna start off with this question. Are you happier when you're single or in a relationship, and why? Let's talk in the comments. I wanna see what y'all come up with on your own before I give you, you know, answers. Okay, so the first thing that I tell a lot of y'all when y'all bring this up to me is I kind of force you to ask yourself a question. So the question typically is, what is it about couples or seeing other people in a relationship that makes you feel like you need to be in a relationship or makes you feel like you are lacking something? What is it? Or what emotion are you feeling when you're seeing other people in relationships or you're seeing other people, you know, happy in love? What is that causing you to feel? And why is someone else's actions or someone else's, you know, lifestyle and what they're involved in making you feel like your lifestyle is lackluster or is less than, you know? And that's not even a rhetorical question. Like, this is literally a question that you need to answer. And a lot of times there's a lot of different ways we can have this conversation because there's a lot of different reasons. Okay, a lot of times I see people upset when they see other people in relationships and it makes them sad because they feel like having a relationship is, you know, the marker of success. Digging deeper into that, the reason that a lot of us think that that's the marker of success is because, like, look, I've got somebody say that they love me and only me, and that's insecurity in itself. So a lot of times it's like, okay, you know, she won because she got a man to claim her on the internet, and I'm sad because I haven't won because no man's claiming me on the internet, you know? Or just a man to claim you in general, just a man to think highly of you enough to make you his girlfriend or his wife or whatever. That seems to be like the marker of success. So when you're not having a man do those things for you, it makes you feel like you're not successful in that realm. It makes you feel like you're lacking. It makes you feel sad. That's when you reevaluate and you say, you know what? Why is my marker of success dependent on somebody else? You're depending on a man's actions, whoever it may be, in order to mark your success. The math is not mathing for me. That's why you're gonna continue to feel this way over and over again, because you're putting the marker of success in somebody else's actions. And you cannot control anybody's actions but your own, okay? Now, another reason that I see people get sad when they see couples and things like that is because of loneliness, right? So you'll see somebody in a relationship happy and, you know, booed up and cuffed, and it's just that companionship and we do everything together and and you're like, I wish I had somebody to do everything with. I wish I had somebody to lay with every night. I wish I had because you're lonely, right? When you see things like that, it triggers and reminds you that you're lonely at night or you're lonely during the day. But let me give you a reframe once again. Maybe it's not that you just want somebody to do things with innocently, like, oh, I just want somebody to have, you know, there with me all the time and Maybe it's more so that you're not comfortable in your own space by yourself. Maybe when you're by yourself, it gives you too much time to overthink and to indulge in those thoughts, and you just don't want to be there. Maybe you just don't really know yourself to like yourself enough to spend that much time with yourself over and over again, so somebody else can kind of take the focus off of you. Somebody else can distract you from whatever you're going through in your life right now. Somebody else is filling some sort of void for you. So it's really less so about you want somebody to do things with, and there's something underneath that. There's something that's causing you to feel lonely in your own company. And that's always gonna be an issue because somebody's not always going to be there. Even if you do have a partner, they're gonna have to go, they're gonna have to work, they're gonna have to do things. And then you're left in that same loneliness in your own company. You can't depend on somebody else to feel whole by yourself. You have to feel whole and loved and comforted and joyous and everything on your own, and allow somebody else to add to that. But when you do the whole I'm too lonely on my own thing, that's why I want a partner, you actually set yourself up to settle in a partner. Whole other conversation. When you're so desperate to just fill that empty space because you don't want to be alone, you end up like blindfolding yourself to a lot of the red flags that are right in front of you because you just want somebody that bad. If you've watched my other videos and stuff, we've talked about, you know, making sure that you have that list of things that are like non-negotiable for you and a partner, XYZ, right? So let's say you have that, but you're so desperate to feel this loneliness by yourself that it's like, you start taking some of those off. You start being like, did I really want this? Knowing you did, but knowing you're just getting desperate. It's important for you to be able to decipher that and to be able to say, you know what? I don't want to end up settling for the things that I know I deserve and that I know I need to end up being sad and less fulfilled in the long run anyway with this partner. So I know that I'm lonely right now, but I'm gonna make sure that that doesn't allow me to settle. I'm gonna make sure that that doesn't allow me to ignore red flags and to ignore things that do not align with what I need. That's where you need to be. But a lot of times when we are so like, oh, these couples, it makes you feel like, girl, I'll take anybody at this point. I just want to be booed up. And that's the issue. Also, let's bring this topic to the table. Recently, I saw that there was a conversation online somewhere about how men put most of their pride in their work. That's where they get all of their confidence from. And I thought about this in the sense of women. We already know this all comes from gender roles, societal norms, etc. That's why men put all their, effort and energy into their work, because that's what they're taught that they're valuable for. I thought about this in the sense of women as well, because I'm like, now what do women put all their effort into, and what do women feel like we're valued for? Being a wife, being the girlfriend, being useful. That's what we put all of our effort into. And I think that's why a lot of times we get sad when we're single and we see couples and things like that, because we're not getting that sense of pride out of being somebody's wife, out of being somebody's girlfriend. You're not sad because you really, really want a relationship to grow with right now and to nurture it. No, you want a man to nurture because that's what you've been taught to be valuable for. And so when you're not doing that, you don't feel valuable. When you're not taking care of a man and making him grow and feeding him and doing this and that, you don't feel valuable. Just as when a man's not working and stuff like that, a lot of times men do not feel valuable because of gender norms, societal norms. We've all talked about this. So when you're seeing these couples and you're feeling sad, you have to ask yourself, am I feeling sad because I really want a relationship, or am I feeling sad because I don't feel valuable when I'm not in a relationship? And that's the issue. The thing is really this: we will nurture a man and then he won't appreciate it, and then we're left feeling even less valuable. For example, you're pouring yourself into this man, he cheats, he does whatever. Now you really don't feel valued because you've done all this for somebody who didn't even care about it and still went out and did whatever he wanted with another woman who in that moment of cheating or whatever, he valued more. And it's just a cycle, man. Like, we could really get into this if we wanted to, but like, the point is, a lot of times you're not sad because you're single, you're sad because when you're single, you don't feel valuable. You need to find out how you can put your worth back into yourself when you're not of use to somebody else. You don't have to be of use to somebody else to be valuable. You're valuable because you're you. A lot of times in order to be happy when you're single, you have to understand why you're not happy that you're single right now. And these are the things and the questions that you have to ask yourself and really dig into to figure that out. Or maybe you get sad when you see couples because you miss what comes with a relationship. You miss the cuddles, you miss the, movies. You miss some of the things that come along with a relationship that you have previously had that you now don't. That I understand, because it's like, okay, you've had something, you're used to something, and then it gets ripped from you, and it's like, where's it at? And of course that's gonna cause a void. That's like, where to go? Something's missing. But even with that, the things that you were gaining in the relationship before that you're missing now, give it to yourself. Like, you don't have to wait for somebody else to come along and give that back to you. Give it to yourself. Obviously, nothing is gonna compare to like a whole nother person, but there's ways that you can fill that void a little bit better. So it's like, okay, if you missed, movie nights, have a movie night with yourself, or even with your girlfriends. You know what I mean? But you can always do things by yourself. And I always encourage you guys to do things by yourself before I say go do things with friends, because I want you guys to really get comfortable being alone. You have to be comfortable in your own space before you can depend on others to be in your space. So yes, you can go watch movies with friends, but you can also have a movie night by yourself. You can laugh alone. It's not weird, I promise. If you miss, like weight on you or just behind you, get a weighted blanket. It's the small things. And it seems like, girl, that's not the same. Obviously not, but there's things that you can do to kind of compensate in the meantime. Now it's important for you to get comfortable with the lack of it. You have to get comfortable with sleeping like this with yourself. You have to get comfortable with always being the home base that you go back to and you're comfortable at, no matter who comes in and out your life. We forget that. Get to know you. Maybe you get uncomfortable when you see couples and things like that because you miss being able to have your focus on something that's not you. And that's the problem too. You spent all your time getting to know this person, knowing what they like, knowing what they don't like, just getting to know every single inch and part of this person, because you don't really want to get to know yourself, because it can be an uncomfortable process, and it's easier to put that on somebody else than to put that back on yourself. And that's the issue. You have to get comfortable getting to know yourself. If you don't know yourself, nobody else will, because you'll be portraying what you think you are. You'll be portraying what you think it means to be you, and most of the time it's not true. Other people are really loving or knowing or trying to like somebody that's not accurate, or somebody that's not, a full depiction of themselves, somebody that's a facade, somebody that's wearing a mask. Remove the mask, Not that type of mask. Put your mask on. But you know what I'm saying? Like, put your mask down. Figure out who you are raw and unfiltered. Who are you at your core? What do you stand for? What do you do when nobody's looking? What do you do when everybody's looking? What's the difference between them? Get to know yourself in the way that you've always dedicated getting to know your man. Maybe you're uncomfortable because your identity has always been being somebody's girlfriend. And this isn't even like the whole valuable conversation we were having. This is more like you don't have your own identity, so you've always been so-and-so's girlfriend, and that made you feel like you were somebody. That made you feel like you had some sort of identity because you feel like you lack an identity on your own. That's an issue, because now you're dating somebody who has their own identity. They're this person and you're just this person's significant other. What is that? What is that? And then what do you do if that ends or they leave? Now you have to hop into another relationship to feel an identity again. And that's why you might be feeling lost now, because you're single, so you don't have an identity in being somebody's girl. That's an issue. And with these things, that brings it back to my initial question to you guys about being happier in a relationship or being happier single. Because why? Have you identified why your answer is the answer that it is? Is that a healthy answer? Is that okay? Is that something you want to continue going by? If you have new insight, feel free to add it below. It's just important for you to do this type of deep diving and ask yourself these questions, like, and even past being single, just in general, just things that make you uncomfortable, it's always important to ask yourself why. And then you deconstruct, is this even healthy for me to feel uncomfortable about? Also, I think a lot of times people look at like dating as like a negative thing, like, oh, I'm stuck in this dating pool, oh, I've gone on like 5 dates in the past month and all of them have been trash, or this and that. And you look at it as like a negative thing rather than being like, I'm like weeding through what I want and what I don't want. So even if like all your dates have been trash, there might have been one quality in one of them, hopefully, or one moment that you were like, that's something that I really want in a partner, or I really enjoyed this moment. I would love to have this with my partner, whoever this person is. And the same goes the other way. There might have been a moment, or there might have been something, a quality in this person that you were like, ugh, I do not want that in my partner at all. I could not deal with that every day. I couldn't deal with that every month. I couldn't deal with that every year. Like, instead of being like, dating, it's like, oh, okay, thank God. I am narrowing down exactly what I want in a partner. That way, when it comes across me, I know exactly what I want when I see it. You have to shift your perspective on like the dating scene. Like, you have to be more optimistic about it. You have to be more, this is an opportunity for me. This is an opportunity to learn what I want in a partner and why. Are my wants and needs, are they shallow? Are they really necessary? Are they really fulfilling me? Are they fulfilling traumas? Are they fulfilling voids I have? Is that good? These are great times for you to really figure out what you want in somebody and why. And that's why it shouldn't be like a negative connotation to being single. Being single is a time that you not only get to know yourself better, which is key, but you also get to know other people and figure out what you like in them and what you don't. And that's great. That's wonderful. Rather than just settling and jumping into any relationship, you get to use this time being single to get to know everything around you, to get to know yourself more so that you can find your partner easier. I know it's like a corny saying and it's like, oh, of course, but it's like, the less you look for a relationship, the easier it comes to you, literally. Like, when you are just so desperate for a relationship, you're either gonna settle and get yourself into something that left you worse off than you were when you were single, or you're never gonna find it because you're so like, it's not gonna work. Things have to flow naturally. Things have to come to you, and things are not gonna flow naturally when you force them. Things are also not gonna flow naturally or abundantly when you haven't done the work on yourself first. Tough truths, man. It's just the truth. But that's how to be happy when you're single, when you deconstruct the reasons that you're not happy and realize these are not good reasons. And then you look at things more positively. You look at things like, you know what? This is a great opportunity for me. Reframe it into something that benefits you. Being sad and lonely and looking at all this stuff all day, it's not benefiting you. Okay, so hopefully this video helped you guys. Let's have a conversation in the comments about it. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, turn post notifications on. You got a lot to do. You better get to it. And I will see y'all in the next one.